All right, Gilbert, let's move on to the LA betting market. We're going to start off with the Seahawks traveling to the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams are 3-point favorites. The over under here is 49.5. And, you started your intro talking about, take your number, wait for your number. And it's funny because at the beginning of this week, this was a 2.5 for the Rams. It's gone up to 3. What are the numbers saying, and what do you think made it go up to a 3? Just kind of, I would like to get your thoughts on this.
Yeah, I think the early money is on the Rams clearly because it went from 2.5 to -3 Rams here, and hearing Chuck explain why that is, and I thought I was kind of alone here, but a lot of people don't think the Seahawks are for real. I think when it comes to this matchup, the Rams are a more proven commodity. They're also at home. Matthew Stafford is playing lights out. Matthew Stafford is not Sam Darnold. So there's a lot of reasons to like the Rams here. So I think the sharps win on the Rams here. I think the Rams are going to probably be a public play too, and that's why the people who like Seattle are probably waiting it out because the public's going to come in on the Rams, and maybe you get that 3.5, and now it's a valuable number there. So because it's not at 3.5, I'll take the Rams here to win and cover. But yeah, you start looking at that number when if it goes over, and you start thinking, okay, maybe there's something here. Uh, Even then, though, I'm not sure. I like the number because and I'll promote the interview we have with Eric D. Williams on. He's a reporter for Fox Sports. He covering the NFL, and we did a interview with him on House of Horns. That's a different channel, but also on their Compas on the Beat. And Eric kind of had the same concerns I had about this team here, and he said, I'm not sure I could say this, but he said he expects like a decisive victory, like a 10-point victory from the Rams here, and I could see that because the Rams are more proven, and Mike McDonald has struggled against Sean McVay so far. I know last year is not this year, but you know, I'm kind of leaning more on Eric's thinking. Like, I don't expect a 10-point win from the Rams, but I do expect a victory where, okay, maybe it was close, but the Rams were always a step ahead, and it never really got out of hand. I could definitely see that there. But I'll express one concern here, and people are saying on that video with Eric D. Williams, where what about the Rams' weaknesses? And I did get to them. They were at the end of the interview, and I'm worried for the Rams secondary against JSN and Rashid Shaheed. And it was easy to forget about Shaheed last week because they didn't need him. It was a blowout against the Cardinals. It jumped out to 35-0. But now that they have a vertical stretch playmaker to put pressure on this suspect, not very good Rams secondary, that's going to open up the middle for JSN. So I worry about that there. But right now, in terms of number, I will take Rams -3 at home. But if you want Seattle, definitely wait. But it's a tricky game. I would not be surprised if Seattle pulls it off, but I'm not expecting a total dominance from the Rams, but I think they're going to be a step ahead.
I want to say that I'm in lockstep with you and Eric here, but I'm just gonna stay away. The one I want here, Gilbert, is the 49.5. I'm taking the over here just because I know these two
Wow.
teams are gonna probably score points. Even if you go and you check that interview out with Eric, as you should, stay to the end because he gives the score prediction. But that was a high number he gave
Yeah.
too, Gilbert. So I think we're all expecting
Yeah.
these two offenses to do something in this game. And I know a lot of people think, well, both of these defenses are much improved. They'll have something for them. It's just it's an indoor game. I just feel like they're gonna be able to move the ball, both of these teams, just with Clint Kubiak and Sean McVay. The reason I'm staying away, Gilbert, is just that I just don't know in terms of what we're gonna see in this matchup. There's gonna be a lot of, one of the things we always talk about, and you're a big boxing fan, and whenever we get heavyweight fights, you have this feeling out period, right, in the first couple rounds, and so you don't know which way who to give the first couple rounds to, just because they're over here feeling out where they want to attack. And I feel like that's the same thing that's going to happen in this game, where You're gonna you're gonna see whether or not Mike McDonald is gonna throw something at Sean McVay, and then the and vice versa. And I think that's where this game is gonna go. And so I, I just don't know how each of them are gonna attack each other, just because it feels like we both mentioned this, that I think you can say for both the Rams and the Seahawks, they haven't really played anybody, right? Like, yeah, like the Rams played the Eagles, and they kind of exposed the Eagles in the first half, but then they give away that game. And then with the Seahawks, like they're in their two losses. I was trying to remember the two losses that they had, because it's I'm going blank on
Buccaneers,
the
49ers.
Buccaneers. Yeah, and the Niners were fully healthy, right? And then they were on the verge. Sam Darnold was on the verge of winning that game, and then Nick Bosa forced a fumble there, and they ended up losing that game. So I just that's why I'm staying away, Gilbert. I wish I can give you numbers. I think for me, it's like if Seattle gets down, I just wonder if they're able to come back with Sam Darnold. Can they trust Sam Darnold to lead them back? And the reason I say this is because for the majority of the season, the Seahawks have been in the lead. I think there's only been like under 50 plays where they've trailed in this season. So that's not a lot of plays for them to be trailing. We're already in week 11, so I want to see that, and so I still have a lot of reservations for both of these teams. That's why I'm just gonna stay away, and I'm gonna take the over here at 49.5.
Yeah, last thing on this, and I think even the total is a little difficult to get a sense on, but I will go over just to now that I think about it. I just don't want I would not be surprised because these are two good defenses, and I would not be surprised if the Rams front gets to Sam Darnold and he struggles all day. I would not be surprised if Matthew Stafford is confused by the scheme that Mike McDonald has, and I'll say Seattle has some talent. Okay, people are giving me crap for that. But he hasn't seen this new look scheme and new personnel that Mike McDonald has. So I could definitely see a low scoring game, but I can't get over the fact that when we've been calling this out already, that Sean McVay is going to go away from the tight ends. He's going to go 11 personnel. He's going to spread it out, and he's going to say, "Okay, here's my counter to your scheme, Mike McDonald. Here's a bunch of playmakers all over the place. Try to figure it out." And I could see Matthew Stafford having success that way. On the flip side, I really think Rashisha, he's going to be a big factor here to expose his Ram secondary. So I'm with you. Let's go with the over for the fireworks here.
Yeah, and I'm taking the Rams to win this game, Gilbert. But I just, in terms of the betting, I'm just staying away.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it.
All right, moving on to the other LA team here for the LA betting market. The Los Angeles Chargers are traveling to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Duval. The
Duval.
the Chargers are 3-point favorites here, and the over under here is 45. Gilbert, what are the numbers saying in this matchup?
Yeah, so one of the questions I like to ask the odds makers in Vegas is like, okay, which team are you rooting for? Which is a liability game? Which is the one you're afraid of? Because the sharps and the public are all in on this one team that could cost you a lot of money. And he brought up the Chargers. So it's going to be a very heavy Chargers action here
Yeah.
against the fraud Jaguars who are fading into the midnight and turning into a pumpkin again. So yeah, the Chargers looked good last week against the Steelers. That's part of it too. Narrative. The public loves narrative, and I think the sharps know that the Jaguars are fading here. So they're going to be a big liability for the odds makers. They could cost a lot of money here for the odds makers. So I am on the Chargers here. I know I got it wrong last week when I said it's going to be a close game, and it was not. The Chargers dominated the Steelers, so it's a credit to them. But this is more about the Jaguars. I have not liked what I've seen from them. They started off pretty well. Um, Trevor Lawrence, you had that game against the Chiefs on Monday Night Football. Well, what the hell happened? Same old, same old. Liam Cohen's supposed to fix you. Maybe you're not the guy. Liam Cohen did wonders with Baker Mayfield, and Trevor Lawrence is not doing it. And then it's not all his fault. Liam Cohen cannot figure out how to unlock Brian Thomas Jr., who might be hurt in this game. But regardless, he's been an afterthought on the field. You also lost Travis Hunter, so you don't have him as a weapon. Jacoby Myers is there. And defensively, this is not a good defense in Jacksonville. They made some moves. So I like what Liam Cohen and James Gladstone have done to kind of make them relevant again. But this team still has ways to go. So I'd rather have Jim Harbaugh on the Chargers here and Justin Herbert to win in dominant fashion.
Yeah, we're in lockstep here. I like the Chargers in this game, and I just keep going back to the whole Jacksonville Jaguars, and it the Chargers better win this game. Gilbert, I think is one of the most important games they need to win. I know people don't like to say must win, and the reason I'm bringing this up, Gilbert, is because if you look at the playoff seating right now, the Jacksonville Jaguars have the tiebreaker over the Chiefs. If you lose this game and you lose a couple more games and you end up with the same record as the Jaguars and you lose out on the tiebreaker because you lost to the Jaguars, that's gonna suck at the end of the season. So you need to make sure that you win this game
Yeah.
however you can, Gilbert, just because, like I said, and like the I call it Jacksonville. Like I just don't understand this team, but at the same time, they have the wins there. They're right now they're the 7th seed, and so if you don't take them seriously and you don't go into Jacksonville and take care of business and you lose this game, you're gonna regret it later on in the year, Gilbert.
Yeah, yeah, right now the Chiefs are the 8th seed because they lost to the Jaguars. So that
Yep.
stuff does matter. And I think the Jaguars are going to keep fading, but you don't want like say you're the Chargers or the Bills or the Chiefs, and you have a couple of rough games, and now you're talking about wild card. You want to beat all these teams in wild card range to have the head-to-head tiebreaker. So that's a good point by you.
Yeah, so it's just something to keep in mind. You know, I wouldn't say it's a must win, but you need to take care of
Yeah,
business because you need that tiebreaker down the stretch. Because you don't know, you know, especially with the Charger schedule coming up, it's not easy down the stretch here. So just something
yeah.
to keep in mind there. All right, Gilbert, let's go to our Super Dog contest week 11 pick where we choose a dog that is at least 4.5 or more. Last week, you didn't get any bonus points for your pick. I got 5 points on that terrible Europe game where they scored a touchdown and they didn't have to in overtime. The Colts didn't have to kick the extra point, so I barely got it by half a
Oh
point. What do
yeah.
you got for us this week, Gilbert?
Uh, yeah. So I did do well on my outright picks, but I did struggle against the spread. It was not my best week. I think we both only got one. I think our 2 pointers. But you did get the spread on the super dog. So
Yep.
yeah, and it was funny because the ones that I said stay away from, all the dogs hit, and the ones that I said I'm gonna take a chance on the dogs, they didn't cover for me.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go back here to what happened last week on the Broncos and the Raiders, a divisional game, Thursday Night Football, big spread, and the Raiders cover. So, the Patriots are playing a lot better than the Broncos, but look at this number for the Jets. It's pretty high, plus 12 and a half. Chuck Esposito told me that it was at plus 10 and it got worked up to 12 and a half. That tells you all the money is on the Patriots. Everybody has faith in the Patriots. And, you know, for the most part, Patriots handle business. But I remember a couple of weeks ago, you had the Falcons to cover, and they did against the Patriots. So, and I know the Patriots looked good against the Buccaneers last week, but that's a high number for a young team. Maybe I get a backdoor cover. And the Jets have been playing much better the last
Yep.
couple of weeks. They're 2-0. They had the bye week in between. They beat the Bengals and they beat the Browns there. So I'll take a chance here. I think Aaron Glenn still has his team fighting. They're not very good defensively. I think they know how to run the football, and well enough. And I hope Kerry Wilson. Kerry Wilson's always hurt, but hopefully he plays. I don't think he's gonna play. I haven't looked that up yet. But I like the number. That's what I care about. So give me plus 12.5. The Jets
Yeah,
against the Patriots.
I like this one, and the Jets have been really good with their special teams play this year, and two of them, I think they scored 2 touchdowns on special teams
Yeah.
last week. So, yeah, and it's a divisional game. As soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, that's a great pick, and I'm gonna stay right with you here for mine, Gilbert. I'm going with the Tennessee
Oh,
Titans plus 6.5
Tennessee.
versus the Texans, and the only reason I'm doing this, Gilbert, is what's one of my rules is I'm going to take the home team, and then the other thing is that it's going to be what's his name? CJ Stroud is not going to be the quarterback in this game. He's still dealing with
Oh,
the
he's out
concussion.
again.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So it's something like Davis Mills is going to be the quarterback, and they barely beat the Jaguars last week, and so like it's a divisional game, Gilbert. I just think this game's going to be close. I still like the Texans to win this game, but because from what I had to choose from, I went with this one just because I'm like, look, it's a divisional game. I'm going to take the home team here, hoping that at least keep it close because the Texans, outside of their defense, offensively, they're not creating a lot of stuff, a lot of opportunities, and the Jaguars pretty much gave that game away last week.
Yeah, that was a wild game there, but I can never support the Tennessee Titans, especially not this year. But it does fall under the rules here. It's either stay away or go with the Tennessee Titans. You don't want to lay more than 3 against the Texans. But when we get to my best bets, I'm surprised you didn't take one that I was gonna take. I thought maybe you'll take it, so I left it for my best bets. But yeah, let's get to those right now.
Yeah, and then for the season now, Gilbert, you are at 112 points. I am at 107. And so let's get to our betting locks for our 5 bets for week 11, Gilbert. Let's start off with your number 5.
Yeah, last week I got screwed over, or not really screwed over, but I think I went Giants plus 2.5, and the freaking Bears won by 4.
You should
Whatever,
have
I didn't
won
get
that
that
one
one.
if it wasn't for the dart injury.
Yeah, I definitely I was looking good there too. But yeah, I get that my number 5 bet here is a little risky, and again, this is kind of a point system with the 5 being a 5 pointer, and then the next one being 4 points, 3 points, and so on. But I'm expecting the Lions best, and also, I'm taking the Lions plus 2.5 versus the Eagles, and like we touched on, I think the Lions have potential to go off offensively. I did like what I saw from Philly defensively, but that secondary wasn't really tested by Jordan Love. I think Jared Goff and all his weapons could put pressure on this Eagles team to counter and say, okay, well, now it's our turn to score points. Can they do it? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm with you. Like I said, and they have better weapons than I don't want to go back to the Packers. I really don't want to talk about them. So I'm just gonna leave
Yeah.
it at that. Let's go to number 4.
Yeah, I'm gonna break the rule here. I'm breaking a lot of rules here, but number 4, Falcons minus 3.5 versus the Panthers, and yeah, this is over the field goal line here for a divisional game. But and these are two teams that have burned me a lot. Two of the most inconsistent teams in the NFL. But I'm gonna take the Falcons and lay the points here because I think they're just I hate to say do, but I think they're ready to beat up on a bad team. They show a lot of fight and against the Colts. They covered against the Patriots, and man, the Panthers they like to get your hopes up. They were flying high, and you lose to the Saints at home. Now you have to go to Atlanta, an Atlanta team that remembers that they got beat up by this Carolina team, an Atlanta team that's just tired of all the heartbreaking one score losses, an Atlanta team that has a coaching staff on the hot seat, an Atlanta team that needs Bijan Robinson to go off. So to me, I think it comes together for Atlanta, and I'm gonna take a chance here, and that's why I'll put it up so high at number 4. So give me the Falcons minus 3.5 versus the Panthers.
Yeah, and Raheem Morris is probably coaching for his job right now. They
Yep.
they really need to win this game, Gilbert. All right, number 3.
This is the one I wanted to take for the super dog bet, and I thought maybe you would take it. But I just like the points on the Jets one. That was a lot of points right there. So give me for number 3, Bengals plus 5.5 versus the Steelers. I'm worried that it's going to be no Trey Hendrickson, but does he really matter on that crappy defense there? So I expect another high scoring game between old man Rodgers and old man Flacco. And I expect a close game here. Maybe the Steelers get this one this time. But I think the Bengals, especially to maybe knowing that Joe Burrow is close to return, that they want to stay in the race and they kind of get up for this game here, and maybe they sweep the Steelers here. I don't see all that, but I'll take the. Oh, I think I did pick the Bengals actually. Whatever. So give me the Bengals plus 5.5.
Yeah, and the only reason I didn't go with it here just because I thought about this game, but last time it was a Thursday night game.
Yeah.
Now, and I can't get behind the Bengals. What if that defense just decides, hey, we're just not gonna show up today, and then you get, I'm like, I don't want to take a chance
Yeah.
there, and it's a road team, so that's the issue here. All right, Gilbert, number two.
I actually feel very confident about the Dolphins minus two and a
I'm
half
with
versus
you.
the Commanders. I
Yeah,
think the Commanders are not going to win a game again this year. They're done. They've checked out. It's a crappy year, a miserable year from hell. I know it's at a neutral site in Spain, but the Dolphins are still playing hard. I think Mike McDonald still is gonna lose his job eventually at the end of the year, but I think they're still playing for him. I think you have too many talented guys to just kind of roll over. Like you're Tua, you're getting paid a bunch of money. Go freaking play well. If you don't play well, you're probably gonna get they're probably gonna get traded or something's gonna happen to you in Miami. When not saying he's gonna get kidnapped or anything, but he might not have job security. So
yeah.
Tua needs to play well. Jalen Waddle needs to play well. These guys just saw Jalen Phillips get traded. You're playing for your jobs to stay in Miami. Commanders, they're kind of like in this phase where like, yeah, another year. We'll roll it back next year and try again when Jaden Daniels gets healthy. So give me Dolphins minus two and a half.
I like it. I'm with you. I'm surprised that that line isn't a lot bigger than that.
Yeah.
The Commanders are getting a lot of respect for a team that's been getting blown out lately. Number one, Gilbert.
Yeah, and I'm taking the Bears plus three versus the Vikings. I know I give the Bears a lot of crap, but they've been a much improved team since that week one game. Remember when they blew it? They had a 10-point lead against the Vikings, and McCarthy came back. What's his new nickname? Nine.
Nine.
Nine did not
Oh
look
yeah,
good last week. He wasn't that great. Caleb Williams is better than JJ McCarthy. We could talk crap about Caleb Williams all day, but he's better than JJ. And I like that they're balanced, have a good running rushing attack. Vikings are just kind of seem like they threw away a year by having a developmental whatever quarterback here. I can't get that word right, but yeah,
yeah,
plus three Bears.
yeah. I like it. I mean, Bears just keep winning. I don't know how, but they're probably one of the best teams that. What are they? Are they 6-3 or 5-3?
Or 6-3, surprisingly.
Yeah, they're the best 6-3. They're the worst 6-3 team, I should
There you
say.
go.
All right, getting over to mine here. I'm just gonna keep it, 100 here, Gilbert. I'm going with the Ravens here, minus
Yeah,
7.5. I'm taking the favorite here, and I know it's a divisional game, but it's the Browns. It feels like they've just, thrown the white flag, and then the Ravens are just they are just feasting right now. They heard everybody's criticism and they fixed their defense now by moving again. Kyle Hamilton, we need to start having a conversation, Gilbert, especially since there's not like been a dominant defensive player this year. That maybe Kyle Hamilton needs to be in the conversation with how they keep moving
yeah,
him, and then he keeps flipping that defense. So they would
yeah,
need to win the division, which it's possible, and then he would be in the conversation for defensive player of the year. But that's for another day. I just wanted to bring that up. My number four, Gilbert, is the Chargers -3 here. We talked about it already. I like the Chargers. To me, this is a must win. You have to go out there just with how the schedule lays out the rest of the way. I just think that you need to take care of business down in Duval. And so that's why I like the Chargers. My number three is the 49ers here, minus 3. Every time people give up on the 49ers, they're out of the playoff spot right now with the Bears as the number 7 seed right now. They're the number 8. It feels like Kyle Shanahan just uh, he's right now he's Mr. Miyagi. He's just being able to, do something with not a lot there. And so I just feel like he's gonna make sure that they get the win here, and they'll be back in right in the thick of the playoff race, Gilbert. And then the Cardinals, man, like after last week, what a dud they put up, and Jacoby Brissett. It's not on Jacoby Brissett. It's like that whole team just does looks disinterested, Gilbert, and they just did not. They weren't up for that game against the Seahawks. I watched most of that game, and you could tell like they just weren't interested in outside of Jacoby Brissett and Sam Darnold giving them some turnovers there. I'm just like, what are they doing? Um, but yeah, my number two, going back to the Broncos here, we talked about it, we broke it down why I like the Broncos here, and then my number one, +5.5 for the Bucks.
yeah.
The Bills again, I don't understand that number. Why the Bills continue to get big numbers here when they haven't shown outside of, like, I get it. They beat the Chiefs, but I'm like, the Bucks are still a good team. When I saw this 5.5, I'm surprised it wasn't like 3.5 or 3. The whole week it's been over 5. So I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna take a chance here on the Bucks.
I'm glad you brought that game up, and we probably should have discussed it sooner, but the schedule's so loaded that we couldn't get to
Yes.
Bucks Bills. And honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I was thinking Bills here because I'm like, okay, they're pretty pissed off. Like you lost to the Dolphins, they're now, and I think this is in Buffalo, right?
Yep.
They need a big game, so I thought maybe they blow out the Buccaneers because the Buccaneers have been fading. But I decided not to put it as one of my best bets, and I'm kind of glad that I didn't do it. But also now I'm beating myself up because Chuck Esposito, the odds maker at the Station Casinos in Vegas, he said the sharps are all in on the Buccaneers. Like I always ask a question, it's like, what's the sharp play of the week? What's the best one you're seeing so far? And the Buccaneers came to mind. I'm like, ah, crap! I wish I would have gone with the Buccaneers. And I just to me, and it's all, and maybe I got in trouble. I didn't get in trouble because I didn't put the bet down, but I got stuck on the narrative. Like, yeah, the Buccaneers are wounded, and sometimes it's just a week to week league, and I could definitely see the Buccaneers having a close one. So, good call by you. This is a sharp play here. So I just wanted to relay that information there. And I regret picking the Cardinals to win because MHJ's hurt, and they're gonna get blown out now.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and I'm glad I picked them during our week. But yeah, week 10 buys, Gilbert. It's the Colts and the Saints. Only two teams on a buy. All right, let's get to our quick hitters real quick. And we're going to have to talk about those Packers. The Green Bay Packers are 7-point favorites at the New York Giants. The over under here is 43.5. Give me the Packers here, but I'm not happy about it. What do you got here for this game?
Same here. Taking the Packers, they're freaking due to cover. Like they are 3-6 against the spread, and I think they're 0-5 again when they're laying a touchdown. So this is not good numbers. But again, you're going to a crappy New York team that fired their coach, don't have their starting quarterback, don't have their starting running back, don't have a lot of things.
Jameis
So
Winston.
yeah, Jameis Winston is going to play. So this is a frustrated Packer squad, and we at least know that Jordan Love plays well against crappy teams. So they're going to take out all the frustration on New York.
Yeah, I'm with you there, and I feel like Micah Parsons is gonna have a big game. He might have one of those 5 sack games just because of what happened last week, as
Yeah.
you broke it down there. All right, Gilbert. Last one is the Cowboys are 3.5 point favorites at the Las Vegas Raiders. The over under here is 50.5. And Gilbert, I almost was tempted to take the Raiders here, but I'm like, I'm done. I'm not putting them in my best bets. Whether it's either whether it was picking the Cowboys or the Raiders here, any game that I see the Raiders in, I'm just staying away from. But I'll take the Cowboys here to win the game.
This is the biggest stay away game of the week for me. But since we have to make a pick for all these games, I just want to say it's definitely a stay away game. But I'll take the Raiders here. They did at least keep it close. They were horrendous, but just give the ball to Brock Bowers and just get out the way, please.
Yep.
So I just don't buy the Cowboys. They got Quentin Williams. They're coming off a bye week. I get it, but yeah, I'll take the Raiders here. But stay away.
Yeah, I'm with you there, Gilbert. All right, Gilbert, that is the whole slate of week 11. I can't believe we've kind of just breezed through this whole season, but here we are. I'll say this before we go. This is one of the best uh games or matchup weeks that we've had in a while. I hope they live up to it. It's been a
Yeah.
snoozer, especially with all the network games. All the primetime games have been awful. They've been boring. And and just as a punishment, Gilbert, I hope that uh that Rams Seahawks game lives up to the hype, because why would you put it at 1 o'clock when you had a chance to
Yeah.
move it to prime time? So I hope that happens just for that reason, Gilbert.
Yeah, week 10 started with a 10-7 stinker by Broncos Raiders, and then it ended with a 10-7
It's
stinker
7.
by the Packers and the Eagles. People said they enjoyed the smash mouth football, physical defense. I didn't enjoy it. I need a little more offense. Jeez. But that's the way that week went. I can't even remember what game I liked. Was Colts Falcons the best game of week 10? That's not really saying much. The late window was just blowouts. So yeah, I'm not gonna forget. Nothing was worse than week 8. Week 8 was horrendous, but at least week 8 had the Jets beating the Bengals for the first game of the year. But yeah, it's been rough. You've been on this. The product has been bad, but this week better live up to the hype and have at least 3 or 4 epic games. But we covered everything here on Game Week with the Compas, our betting show here on Compas on the Beat. We talk to the odds makers. We give you all the information here, and then we make our picks. So best of luck to everybody and betting, fantasy football. Enjoy the games. Check out everything we're doing on Compas on the Beat, on House of Horns, on What's Up Bolts. We do it all here covering the NFL. And we just have a good time with the Compas. But on that note, time to get going. Ya nos vamos, pues, vámonos.